Hi guys, welcome to an art journaling YouTube hop put on by Karen. I'm so excited she invited me. We have some amazing sponsors like Joggles, 7.Studio, The Crafters Workshop, Viva Las Vegas Stamps, UmWowStudio's 49 Market, and Snip-Art. So be sure to check them all out. My name is Carissa, and this is my YouTube channel, Inky Fairy Designs. I do mixed media, watercolor, and sometimes some card making sprinkled in there. This is the page that we're going to be making today. I'm working in my Dina Wakley Media Art Journal. It's one of my favorites. I love all the different substrates that are in this journal. It challenges me, it pushes me, and I love to share that with you guys. So welcome to my channel. I hope you enjoy this video. I'm starting by putting some clear gesso, also by Dina Wakley, onto this page in the journal. And this is actually one of the canvas substrates. And it's raw canvas, so it hasn't been primed. And you can see right now as it's in the journal, it's the same size as all the other pages. But once I put the clear gesso on my page and it dries, the canvas actually shrinks about maybe 1/4 of an inch. It's not that much, but you definitely will notice it. And that's just something that I want to mention. And the reason that I'm using clear gesso today, I use it every time I use the canvas paper or the canvas, is because I love that it's like an off-white creamy color. So some of the other pages are white, and then there's a craft paper in it as well. And so when I'm working on like the not white papers, I like to use clear gesso because that's one of the unique properties of that page, is that the color takes differently when it's not white. So I'm using the Dina Wakley Media Scribble Sticks. This is set number 2, so it has a lot of her new colors in it actually, and they're like a water-based media. And then I have these faces that I cut out from some tags that I made doing a gel press. So I'll link that up here in the corner for an iCard. You can see the gel making process from those pieces that I'm going to be using in this journal. So you saw the colors that I'm using for my background, and this is just laying down color. I'm just like literally scribbling on the page with all of those different blues. Now, I chose to do my background in a blues because you can see the tags, the cut up tags that I'm using, the stamped images are more of they have more of a warm tone to them. So in order for them to kind of pop off my page, because they are so colorful, I wanted to keep my background like a cool color so that the contrast would just play off of each other. So here I am, and you could see when I just scribbled down, even though I had gessoed my page, it wasn't really moving around like I wanted it to. And so I probably could have done with another layer of gesso. So when I work on this substrate again, I'll try it with 2 layers of gesso and see if that, makes the scribble sticks play any differently. But for now, I'm happy with it, and I actually went with it and started to do some of that scripty drawing on it with, some words that I want on there, but you're not ever going to see what those words say. So I pulled out some of my Marabu spray, and this is in like this gray color, and I love this spray because it's permanent. It's an acrylic spray, so I can use it on one of my under layers and not worry about it moving at all when I add other layers on top. And so you can see that I use the excess, and like the page behind this page is becoming a background all on its own. So I pulled out the Bria Reese fine liners that I have. or they're like fine writers or whatever. And you can use the tip to write on your pages, which I will do later with a different color. But when you do that, it kind of leaves like a raised texture, which is totally cool. But I didn't want that actually at this point in my page. So I just put some on the side of my well-loved mat that I use as my palette, and I never clean it. But I just put that on the side there, and I took a smaller paintbrush, and I'm just mark making on my page. And these crosses I've just been making, they've just been showing up in my art a lot lately, and so it's become part of what I do when I'm creating and building a background. So that's all I'm doing here. And I will have all of the supplies and colors listed in the description box below, so don't worry if you don't catch them. I pulled out the Dina Wakley buff and also the Dina Wakley white paint, and I kind of mixed them together to do the next marks. You can see I tried it with the buff and it was just not as bright as I wanted, so I mixed them together and got this like a little bit brighter of a whitish off-white color to kind of pop off the page. I just needed to brighten it a little bit. Like I said, there wasn't any white on the page to start because it was canvas and it had that off-white texture. And I'm laughing because my kids mentioned it in a previous video that you can hear the birds in the background. We actually just got chickens a few, like 2 months ago maybe, and they're growing like crazy, and so you can hear them chirping in the background. So that's what that noise is. They'll soon be out in their coop and we won't have that anymore. So I pulled out my Fude ball. It's like they're getting louder because I introduced them to do some just some doodles around the little circles. And I love that pen because it is also permanent, so I can do it on an underlayer easily. So I am, like, at this point, I'm just doing a lot of doodling, and by doodling, I mean tracing or outlining different elements that are already on there. And so I pulled out the Posca white paint pen, which is, if you've been watching or you're a follower of my videos, you know this is my absolute favorite white paint pen right now to use in my journals. I love the way that it catches on all of the layers and it kind of like splatters a little bit, does its own thing, and it's bright white, and I can go over paint with it and all kinds of great things. So I really like using this pen on my journal pages for doodles and mark making and all kinds of things. So it's definitely become something that you see a lot in my videos. So I'm just going to continue outlining a few things. This page is, as I'm working through the background and I'm thinking about where it's going, I ended up, here I am placing the pieces that I wanted to add on top and figuring out, is my background done? Am I ready to move on? But needed something else, so I pulled out my favorite blue color from the Dina Wakley media line, and that is the turquoise. And it's like this brighter light blue, and my page had become pretty dark in the background, and so I'm just adding some more marks with like this is like a card from the Documented Faith or Illustrated Faith, I can't remember which one, but it's one of their paint cards and to make marks and stuff. And so I'm using that and just adding a few lines here and there. But what I wanted to say was how this page came to be. It's become, art journaling is kind of art therapy for me. So I love art journaling because it's things I can do that I don't necessarily have to display on a wall or share with anybody. Like, I share it with you guys because I love the techniques that I use and all that. But like, what I'm journaling now isn't something that I want the world to see. So I am journaling some of my thoughts, and I'm doing it intentionally so that it will be hidden by the pieces that I'm going to put on top. I'm going to use the Dina Wakley Media Ultra Thick Gel Medium because of the texture of the canvas. I want to make sure that it really sticks on there and doesn't come up. And I only do a layer on the back side. I don't go over top of these pieces. You could definitely do that though if you want to, kind of like extra security to make sure they stay down. But I really make sure that I get under the edges and make sure that they're gonna really stick. And if you saw, I also did some journaling on the back of all of those circles. Excuse me, I apologize for my voice. It's really early in the morning. I'm trying to get this done. And I also did some journaling back there. Some more of my thoughts and things that I'm going through, things that I'm working through right now. And I didn't want that out on the open. So one of the things that I really, truly love about art journaling is that it can be so personal, and you don't have to worry about, well, for me, I've learned that I don't have to be in the best mood to open my art journal and do something in it. And sometimes it's best if I'm not in the best mood. A couple videos back, I actually was in a really bad mood, and I sat down with my art journal and just put some paint on the paper or on a page and kind of worked through whatever was frustrating me. And by the end of the page, I was in a completely different place. So when I say art journaling is art therapy, I truly mean that. I am really loving art journaling this year. I used to take it really seriously, and I had to be in that perfect space, and I had to make sure that whatever I made was going to be pretty and worth sharing. And now I'm just like, I just need to make something. I just need to do something because I have all these things in my head and I need to get them out. And whether I write them out, like you saw, I did some journaling and writing on this page that you can't see anymore, or whether it just comes out in the paint and the texture and the colors that I use, the ideas, the feelings, and the emotion behind all of that is being expressed. And that's what's most important to me in art journaling this year. So the next thing I did was I pulled out some of these clipping stickers by Tim Holtz. I absolutely love these. You guys see these a lot on my art journal pages. And it was really fun. I love using these in my art journals because it's just fun to find something that kind of represents that page. And so each one of the stickers that I placed over the faces is kind of symbolic of what is behind it. So it's figurative, and this page is full of just symbolic references of what I am working through. And so I pulled out my Stabilo Markstyle pencil, and I'm trying to go around the stickers. I like to do that on whenever I put them on my page. It kind of anchors them and makes them part of the page instead of something that I just stuck on as like an afterthought. And really at this point, once I add these stickers, I'm really kind of wrapping up the page. And I brought it in way too soon. When I put down the stickers, I always use a gel medium. You saw I kind of use my fingers and just put a little layer of gel medium, and then I stick down the stickers, and then I put another layer on top. And I just do that even though they're stickers, they have adhesive on them. You know, we're putting them over a ton of layers and paint, and so it may just not stay forever. And I like to secure it with some gel medium, and my gel medium wasn't quite dry. I did heat set it a little bit to speed it up because you know I'm not patient, but it still wasn't that dry when I was trying to do all of this Stabilo around it. And so I dipped it in water. You can dip your Stabilo pencils in water and make them, activate it, and they come out a lot darker that way. Pretty cool. It eventually worked. So I brought out the Brewery's Fine Writer, I think is what they call it. And this time I'm using it with the tip. I wanted to go around each of the faces and kind of just add a highlight around it, make it really kind of pop off the page, even though I think it really pops off the page because it's more of a warm tone against that cool background that we created today. But I just wanted to add something a little bit more, and I wanted to add some white to the page because there isn't much white to it. So that's about it. I'm wrapping it up. I'm showing you a close-up of everything. I love the little stickers that I use. Like I said, they kind of represent what's going on and what is behind the page. I do a little bit more mark making. You can actually see that I was pretty much done with this page, and I had stamped it and signed it, and then when I was looking at it again before I took pictures, I just was not done with it. I added all these stars, then I brought in the golden carbon black airbrush medium mixture that I have and added some black splashes. I thought that just really kind of added a little bit more texture to it. I love those splatters and I don't use them as much. And so it was just like an afterthought, like, oh, I need to add some splatters. I brought in some more turquoise and some more mark makings with the Stabilo pencil again. And then that was it. I just did all that off camera before I took pictures so you can see it here, how it all came together. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you again for stopping by for this art journaling YouTube hop. If you're new, I'd love to have you as a subscriber, and if you enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up. I do mixed media a lot, and I do some watercoloring, and like I mentioned, sometimes I double in some card making. So if you're interested in that, I'd love to have you as a subscriber. And thanks again to Karen for putting this together. You'll want to leave a comment on every single stop of the way because that's your entry into getting one of those great prizes from our awesome sponsors. So I'll be back for another video sometime. Until then, stay inspired, be creative, and share that with others. Bye.